Hello and welcome to India Special. I'm Mishal Malik and welcome to 2019. As the clock struck midnight, celebrations erupted all across the world. Fireworks and confetti filled the skies as people spent the hour with their loved ones looking forward to the new year. In light of this, we discuss today exactly how the world celebrates the beginning of a new year. While doing so, we also talk about how certain cultures and countries do not see January 1st as when the new year begins. Following from that, we will also discuss how consumer spending rises during the holiday season and what makes individuals think of a new year as a clean slate. We welcome to the show our guests. Thank you so much for joining us, Anna. Anna, so now there are a host of cultures and religions that celebrate the new year on different dates. Muslims observe the Islamic calendar that sees Muharram as the beginning of the new year. Many Indians see Diwali as ushering in the new year. Similarly, the Chinese culture begins the new year in February. There's a lot of intrigue surrounding the Chinese New Year. What can you tell us about that?
New Year. Well, usually China celebrates the New Year in a quite different way that, the other parts of the world we're used to. It's usually the 31st of December, and it's just supposed to be the big party of midnight.
The Christmas dish. And that's like the very thing, me as a Venezuelan, when we think about this time, it's just about hallacas and these very special arepas we cook for this time. I did some for my friends this year. They love it. So
Anna, stay with us. We have to go to a short break. When we return, we're going to discuss this further. Welcome back to India Special. Let's discuss New Year's Eve further. We're joined by Omar Farouk, who's a marketing expert. Thank you so much for joining us, Omar. Omar, let's talk about the consumerism aspect of these holidays. How have you seen consumerism patterns changing over the years?
Thank you very much for inviting me, Mishal. As far as the markets and consumers are concerned, I have seen an upward trend. There are certain industries which grows with times. Consumer marketing on holidays is one of them. Because when you talk about consumerism and when you talk about events like New Year and the holidays which are associated with it, it's just a 10 days package, you know that. So people buy, people are always busy and they go to shopping malls, they go to marts and they do this barbecue activities, they exchange gifts, and they buy chocolates and they pass on flowers.
But over here, we're talking about consumer trends having an upwards trajectory. That could be because of rising population, some would argue.
But these things are old, you know, exchanging gifts, sending flowers, and all these things. These are old traditions. Although the means are changed a bit, now we send electronic cards to each other. But buying chocolates, sending flowers, that remains the same.
And on the marketing end, how do retail outlets, marketing agencies design their campaigns, companies design their campaigns in order to ensure that their strategies get the highest number of sales?
All right. Strategy, basically, it's one activity to get the major objective. The objective is to get the maximum positive word of mouth. For example, if you generate one positive word of mouth, then it will go and reach to 20 people. Those 20 people will tell further 20 peoples, and those 20 people will tell more people. So that's how the circle is generated. And once the positive image is built, people always remember that before making a final decision.
But do people have time to remember stuff? There are so many options out there. How does a brand make sure that they are memorable, especially in the holiday season?
Yeah, you're right. That's a wonderful question. For example, there is a company who likes to associate itself with the New Year activity, for example, or some other event. So if you go and take a hall and you call few people and you call a stand-up comedian there and a witty person and a celebrity, the people invited there or the people who are watching all these things on TV, they keep this thing in their minds.
So it's association by a personality.
Yes, once not only the personality, the whole thing. The thing is, when people go and participate in these activities, they keep this thing in their mind. And when they go shopping, and do all that stuff, they remember that this company has done this activity in a particular time.
So, keeping in mind the global context where there is an economic crisis in many parts of the world, have marketing companies had to adopt a more aggressive approach towards selling their products, marketing their products?
Yes, they should, and they are doing it. The reason being, this is the time people should be acknowledged with the messages, you know. People should be, what is basically a brand concept is to create awareness about the brand. So people remember that. So this is where you call the brand recall. One thing you call top of the mind recall, that whenever you go and buy a certain brand, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? So this is where the market comes in. This is where the strategy comes in. And this is where the ATL, BTL, and 360 degrees marketing come in.
Hold on to that thought. I'd like to ask Anna a last question before she leaves us. Anna, what about discounts during the holiday season? Do you see mass sales?
Yeah, me and my people personally, we organized this lottery. So we gave away 5 VIP tickets for future events are going to happen here. So we are not as big in China, so we really need to spread this to the Chinese people so they can buy our tickets. And this is, like, it couldn't be any other way that is online to make this happen. So,
thank you so much, Anna, for joining us. It was great talking to you. Let's move back to Omar. So, Omar, there are a lot of deals that happen, but in some ways they might trick the consumer. So a survey found that almost many Americans were in, an average American was in $1,000 of debt after the holiday season. So as a marketing expert, what can you tell us about that? How do firms trick consumers into buying more?
Yes, that's a wonderful question. Actually, advertising and the corporations don't force people to buy something. They appeal them. See, this is their own choice. Nobody asks you or forced you to get money from your pocket. But again, the main thing is not, this is a short-term thing, earning and the profit making. The long-term thing is brand management.
But at the same time, just to mention here, there are time-sensitive deals that are promoted. And the logic behind that is if you don't capitalize on that then and there, you will lose that deal, whereas that might not be the case because sales are ongoing throughout the year, not just in the holiday season.
Yes, that's why people, basically, you are helping people in that regard. When you are offering them discount, you are basically asking them to upgrade their quality of life. Because this is their, for example, there is a product A which they can't buy in a normal time, but on these occasions, they offer you a discount. So that's where you give them an opportunity to buy a certain thing.
And how much of that idea is sold to upgrade the quality of life?
The idea is simple, that you keep on doing the research. That's what corporations do. And when they do research, they keep in mind the brand positioning. SECs, socio-economic classifications, for example, your education, your age, your gender. And they do this all the time. And then they look at the behavior of the people, then they introduce the product. So in one way or the other, they are basically helping to upgrade your lifestyle.
But you, trying to get to the bottom of this, how do they make sure, how do they entice the consumer to think that, yes, without this product, my life will not be the same? How do they convince them? Their marketing campaigns we mentioned earlier are very aggressive. How do they do that?
Vishal, that's a very good question. The reason being, the consumer is much aware now. For example, if a person like me, whenever we go to the market, we buy things after a complete research. I mean, if I want to buy something which is associated with eatery or the medicine or something organic, I'll go and buy something which is research oriented. So this is where the company's research come in, you see. Before I make a decision to buy something, I go for a thing which is properly research-oriented. So basically, they are not forcing you to buy something. They are actually educating you to should you go for that or not.
So this, we're talking about adults who can research and then go out to buy, but now we are also seeing a lot of marketing tactics targeted towards children. And with the advent of social media and the television and how ads go on there, a lot of kids get this urge to buy a certain product. So how are marketers targeting certain products at children who can't do research?
They do. In fact, when you look at different TV channels, you see, for example, there is a TV channel which just shows the color patterns. This is where children are attracted. Cartoon is one thing where children are attracted. For example, Cartoon Network is one segment where children are attracted. This is where children actually tell their mothers and parents to buy a certain thing, and which is again dependent on the research and the product category.
So if you had to give advice to marketers out there for a successful marketing campaign during the holiday season, what would you tell them to do?
I'll ask them to do more research. First go study and what are the different trends going on in the market. Plus look at the brighter side if they are having an opportunity where they can help people in a sense that most campaigns which we see nowadays, they are donating a very major part of their campaign and earning to the poorer side of the society. So this is what you should keep in your mind before designing a campaign.
Umar, hold on to that thought. We'll continue that. We're also joined by Steve Keen, who's an economist, and Inar Tangan, who's an economist. Thank you so much for joining us. Steve, let's start off with you. So a phenomenon known as the Christmas creep is now becoming widely evident, where companies, firms, retailers start advertising products for Christmas even a month or two before. How is that changing the economy?
Well, it's always been the case. Christmas always comes earlier every year, basically. I mean, what we have is a range of social rituals that have been turned into marketing opportunities, and there's always a temptation for firms to market one day earlier.
And how does that what does that mean for the retail economy in general? So the NRF estimated that almost 585,000 retail employees will need to be hired in the US this year in order for higher sales. So following from that, how do you think an earlier marketing strategy, what it means for the economy at large?
Well, if you look at the level of retail sales over a whole year, almost 30% of them occur around Christmas time. Again, being exploited and perverted in some ways by capitalism, we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that that was part of our essential humanity, which was sharing gifts with each other and giving and also hoping for a good start for the new growing season.
Thank you for that comment. Umar, I'll take the last point to you. On the same point, do you think that human psyche changes with the switch of the date, changing the year?
Yes, it does, in fact, Michelle. The thing is, New Year is all about resolutions, little promises you make to yourself. That I will keep on doing that. So this is one bad thing, I'm not going to adopt it for another year, and this is what I'm going to do next year. The same way companies do the same thing. For example, you see an ad into the newspaper where a shopping mall or other...
Even though it's just a minute change in the date, people take it that seriously.
Yes, they do. In fact, when you say Happy New Year to you, that's where the whole thing comes in, you know. When you tell people, each other, that I am going to make promise to myself that I am going to do this thing in 2019, that I am going to lose my weight, I am doing that thing. So the next day is a new day for you, for the rest of your life.
Thank you so much. On that note, Umar Farooq, we'd like to end. Thank you, Inar, for joining us. Thank you, Steve, for joining us. We hope all our viewers enjoy the holiday season. Goodbye, and we hope to see you again tomorrow.